The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGig webinar series, our endeavor to empower techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is Extending Data Center Virtualization to the Edge, Branch Converged Solution for Modern Enterprises. And our guest speaker today is Bill Teng. He is the Marketing Evangelist at Riverbed Technology, APJ. Bill, in his current role as Marketing Evangelist for Riverbed Technology, APJ, focuses on technology evangelism, activities that bring customers' requirements, technology solutions, and benefits together. He is a frequently sought-after presenter on the trends of emerging technologies relating to WAN optimization, IT consolidation, and service virtualization. He is a seasoned professional with 20 years of experience in computer networking, network security, and telecommunication fields. He held a variety of managerial positions, which include engineering, sales and marketing, and business development for companies such as Bay Networks, Ascent Communications, Lucent Technologies, UT Starcom, and Secure Computing in the Asia-Pacific region. He has been instrumental in introducing leading-edge technology applications into the marketplace and in helping startup stage companies expand business operations throughout Asia. Bill holds a Master of Science degree from the California Institute of Technology at Pasadena, California, and a Bachelor of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering from the Iowa State University. So without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Bill.
Thank you. And thank you for the generous introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. And also I want to thank you for your taking time. My focus today is to talk about branch office convergence. Let me set the background first. Companies with widely distributed IT infrastructure are facing great challenges today, namely the operational overhead and data loss risk. The converged virtual solutions have become very popular in the data center design, yet the branch office IT still remains a very highly isolated and manual-driven operation on its own. So today I'd like to bring the topics and throw some light on how to design such things and moving forward in case you have such a requirement. So let's turn to the main problems that modern enterprises are facing today. With business globalization and with the distributed workforce customers around the world, IT or data live everywhere. The islands of infrastructure rises and spread out. The IT infrastructure lives at the data center, in the replication site, in the branch office, in the mobile devices we carry around, and now we move to private cloud, public cloud. It's everywhere. And as data volume grow every year, as we know it, new applications and technologies being adopted and move changes are taking place constantly. As a result, application performance, control, and visibility are likely to go down while operational cost and management complexity go up. But at the same time, IT budget, we all know, is to stay flat. And IT organizations are required to do more with less. So the question now is how CIOs, how can CIOs or IT organizations gain complete control and visibility of all the resources that are spread far, far out in a remote locations. And the further away, it's very difficult to manage and to get the visibility. So the answer seems quite obvious. Let's consolidate. Let's consolidate everything. Let's consolidate all the resources out in the branch office, and let's put it into the data center. But there's a barrier to do that, namely, while you consolidate everything into a few mega data centers, either you own or you outsource to the public cloud, how could you guarantee the performance to the remote users? So here's where Riverbed solution plays a very highly strategic and unique role. Riverbed Application Performance Platform, or APP solution, greatly enhance application performance and provides the visibility to detect and fix problems before end user even notice them. So let me take you through what's the current situation, what's the current picture of enterprise remote branch office in terms of where the consolidation status is, where we have been. Generally speaking, over the years, quite a lot of IT resources, namely servers, storage, applications, have been run in or have been redeployed from the branch office into the data center under the central management, under the central control. Some branch office have become stateless, like the branch office on your left side, the top one, there's only clients, there's no more servers, there's no more storage device. And those serverless offices are often enhanced or traffic optimized by Riverbed steelhead WAN optimization technology. Yet we still find that over 50% of remote branch offices are still maintaining local servers, and that need to be maintained. And we want to understand why this is so. Why it's not able to achieve 100% consolidation. What it comes down is the performance issue. That's probably the single most outstanding issue blocking the 100% consolidation. First of all, many of our customers are running applications within the branch, like off-site customer service call center, that simply don't work well across wire network links. These often include write-intensive applications that generate a lot of data, a lot of large files, things like database, CAD applications, etc. Some organizations are keeping applications and servers in the branch due to the concern that if the WAN link goes down, the impact of the user group in that branch, the user productivity will be too great to lose the whole group. So in both these cases, customers require local compute and local storage to remain in the branch. All the remote infrastructure is very hard to support, as you know, often requires staff to fly and fix if things goes wrong. The infrastructure is cost inefficient most of the time because much of it could be underutilized. Also, such infrastructure, if at the remote locations, leaves arguably your company's most valuable asset, which is the data, at risk. A company called Forrest analyst firm found that as much as 50% of corporate data lives outside data center and in the branch or in the mobile devices. And finally, branch infrastructure is subject to downtime because of disasters, both natural ones like the tsunami, storms, monsoon season, but also man-made caused by human error. So let me introduce Riverbed solution. Now let me introduce the Riverbed Steel Fusion. It's the only branch converged infrastructure solution out there that delivers local user performance while enabling data centralization, the instant recovery, and lower total cost of ownership. Steel Fusion has been named Product of the Year by leading analyst firm for 2 consecutive years since its introduction. Let me talk through, give you the analogy why converged infrastructure related to data center and branch office, so we have a common understanding, and why IT should be interested in branch converged infrastructure as well. So starting from a data center, as you well know, converged infrastructure is quite popular in the data center design. Thanks to virtualization, the solution combines the server, storage, networking, and the key is it is workload optimized. It is often software defined. It's tuned to optimize and offers scalability and performance for any application to be hosted in any virtual environment, and no matter how many applications you can divide and conquer in the data center environment. The same idea, the same logic we'll try to apply here into the branch. So here, the workloads in the branch, the workloads, the application would mostly include things like file server and domain servers and security services, as well as some business critical customer applications that must run in that particular site. And like we have seen with the converged data center solutions, IT, in fact, can now have all-in-one branch platform that combines the full structure and the full infrastructure stack. Riverbed Steel Fusion delivers that and delivers these unique capabilities. First of all, it has pre-installed VSP, what we call the VSP, Virtual Service Platform, which enables customers to seamlessly run virtual machines in that device at the branch. And the most important thing is the block stream storage deliver technology. That's the technology that enables the data to centralize in the data center. It is the key. This is the key that eliminates the risk and costs associated with hosting data at the branch. And lastly, to make all these possible, you must have, or we must have, the data deduplication technology come from our steelhead WAN optimization technology, which accelerates the transfer across the WAN link, both the data and applications. So let me give you a closer view how the magic, what the Steel Fusion is really doing here. So you see the biggest challenge with the storage protocol working across the middle called the WAN link, which is bandwidth limited and delay is very long. So with block transfer, it tends to be the data, if a block transfer, let's say in a branch office, somebody want to read a document, a large document, fetch the data. With a block transfer, it tends to be very random where the data is and very bulky. It's no issue with the LAN speed. So if the clients and servers stay connected with the LAN speed, there's no problem. But as soon as it's cross WAN, it breaks down. Applications have no tolerance. Most applications have no tolerance for delays in response from a block-based storage. So that's how the block stream technology come into play. We have, at the Riverbed, we have engineered a way to understand the file system and provide a block-based acceleration. So what you see on the diagram is a device called Edge, which is sitting at the branch office and replace all the storage and other service. And in the center is a Steel Fusion core, which link together and mount the storage, large storage, to the up here says NetApp. It can be any storage file. So let me say from a read perspective, say a client at the branch office try to read a file, a large file. The Steel Fusion working in pair will predict where the next block is and understand the file system. So it will quickly prefetch the data and read cache the data at a branch to ensure that the active data or large files is present and delivered at the LAN speed. And also this works on the other way. So when it does the write, the client is just write to the local Steel Fusion Edge devices, and Steel Fusion device takes all the data, then write back to the data center. So there's no inconsistency issues, etc. So it works in pairs, as if the storage still resides in the branch, but in reality, all the storage has been redeployed into the data center. So the advantage having such an architecture is the Steel Fusion seamlessly let the customer to create a stateless converged infrastructure at the branch. So you look at the branch, there's no storage, there's no machines, and it can be all consolidated into the Fusion box. You get all the benefits of consolidation, the provisioning of the data, the management, the backup, and the patch application and redeployed application, etc. And as if the application is still running at the local site. The local site is just do a time difference caching, right? So it says local performance, data centralized with less risk of data loss, and the central backup and the operation is all according to the central environment. So customers can now decouple the compute and with the data. So you protect the data at the central site, and you do the computing at the branch office. That's the beauty of it. So let me take you a play, which is consolidation, how we used before and after. Before the Steel Fusion, after. So before that, when you do have such a technology which allow you to consolidate, for some of our branch offices still have to maintain the servers, then you have these services like the print servers, DHCPs, and the backup, etc. And it requires a lot of manpower to maintain that. When you insert Steel Fusion, you can run the niche service like we said, DHCP print servers in a SteelFusion box. Further, you can redeploy the storage such that everything is centralized and project the storage back. So what you have in the branch office, either you have an external vSphere host in this environment, will be the VDI environment, and you point the vSphere host locally to the storage. That's it. There's no more lot of machines and backup is required. The storage appears to be local, but only a temporary. It's only a prefetched data which doing the intelligence and take the data ahead of time so that the next read will find the right data. All these make it possible so that the WAN optimization and the storage delivery works in conjunction together. All right, and now you understand how it works. Let me give you an example. SteelFusion is used in a VDI environment. Let's work through how you use this in the new design. The main problem when we see when deploying VDI at a remote site, again, was to solving the latency issues. So without any local service, all the clients, let's say in a remote call center, all right, in India, and the headquarters, say in Singapore, and all the servers have to find their peers back to Singapore, and the round-trip delay is over 100 milliseconds, and the line usually is a few megabits per second, 10 megabits per second. And the delay costs the user to abandon such a deployment. So the improvement is let's use SteelFusion as a local delivery machine. So we can project our VDI desktops, which in the past, VDI desktops is all in a data center. We now project the VDI desktops to the branch, to the edge appliance. Once the desktop's data are cached at the branch, we add compute, external compute in this diagram. And the compute has no state or no intelligence. They're just running the application there. It can be external or can be running in the SteelFusion. It has a virtual machine there, can host the remote virtual desktops plus the storage. Any operations done within the VDI session will show up as an application traffic which Steelhead to see, and which Steelhead can do a great job of optimizing. For example, if a user opens a Microsoft Office that shows up as a mapping across the wide link, the Steelhead can deliver the bandwidth and latency optimization given the user, which is the client on the left-hand side, which giving them a LAN-like performance. But let's summarize the benefits, right? So with this re-architecture, which is a simple architecture as shown before, you can deliver LAN performance to all the VDI desktops at the branch. Users no longer have to deal with the slow response time across the WAN, and you also, in fact, you also saving the bandwidth, and you can also eliminate some of the PC over IP traffic over the WAN link. Since the SteelFusion is hosting the desktop, it absorbs all the IPOs at the start. Usually when we deal with VDI, the boot up time at initially, so let's say a lot of machines need to be boot up at the morning, there's a big IOPs. The IO is constantly being seeked. And if you have a local machines like this, it will stop the going through the wide link and try to get a lot of data at the boot up. Every time it boot up, it takes several gigabit files from the server for a VDI client. And lastly, in case the WAN link goes down for a fraction of minutes or so, the users still get connected because they find that there's a local server, right? But all this, what I just described, you don't need to maintain in the branch office. You don't have to maintain the all the data consistency, etc. It's all maintained centrally, managed centrally, backup centrally, security is maintained centrally. So that's the beauty of it. Okay, let me give you a few examples of customer use case. So to illustrate where they find the best use of this technology, branch, converged infrastructure, Steel Fusion is the product name from Riverbed. So the first one is a company, Alamos Gold, and so by the name, it's quite obvious. The company engaged in exploration, mining, extraction of gold with mining properties in Mexico, in other countries, headquartered in Toronto, etc. So their problem was any production site is quite remote. And it's very hard to get the WAN link to the production site, and often the site is rack site. That means there could be power outage, conditions not so good, and it's not suitable for large equipment, servers, data storage, etc. And once the WAN link outage, any data needed to be shipped from a remote, it takes a few days to process. So after using the Steel Fusion from Riverbed, they can now centralize all the data, and there's no need to do the remote backup, and all the assets to the centralized resources, just as if the link between Toronto and the site increased by about 10 times the capacity, and speed is up to about 100 times. And even the server, the WAN link is down, the production side still works. So from Alamos, Alamos Gold, their IT executive, they say, Steel Fusion let us bring down the complexity of what local IT resources need to manage, allow us to focus our IT expertise in Toronto, which is the headquarters. So many examples I just illustrated, I just talk about. In the data center, they have expertise, they have IT resources, but in a remote area, it's very hard to find those IT resources. So it's better to consolidate, yet without compromise the performance at the remote site. Okay, here's another example. This is a customer, a legal firm. Paul Hastings is a leading international law firm that serves many multinationals, large financial institutions. They have offices all over the world. Their problem, unlike the other one, which is hard to get the places where with very remote and rack site, their problem is the data security. Data security is a big concern. They work hard to protect their clients' data. So consolidation is a way to go, and they decided to consolidate and taking all the branch servers to 4 main data centers, and they want to deliver all the IT services from those centers rather than having IT personnel at a remote office and have data staying in a remote office, which exposed to the risk. So as a result, when they implement it with SteelFusion, they have a complete centralization of the data, and now it's much secure. They reach a new level of security, and there's no need to do branch backup and the way now redeployed. So only the data is backup in the 4 data centers. And another example, this is again is a production company, oil, gas, exploration, and you can imagine their working environment is also, it's like almost gold, which is in the remote site doing the exploration and production. Site very harsh condition, and servers could fail, data could fail because of the outage of the power, etc. So it's better to rather than backup in a remote site, which they find it very hard to find the expertise in a far away remote site to do the backup, etc. They want to bring the data in, and without spending too much time on too much money on the WAN link, right? So they achieve that with the technology, and they centralize all the backup and data in the data center. At the same time, they reduce the branch office the footprint. So no longer there's the server there. So help them achieve that. Over again, we see the examples like these. Okay, let me have a quick summary, and we talk quite a bit about branch converged infrastructure, and the benefits are highlighted here. That includes, first of all, number one, once you consolidate, you have complete control. The data is secured centrally, and data only project to the branch when it's needed, and it's encrypted. So there's no concern saying someone will walk away with the data, will take the data away. No, the data projected with the SteelFusion, the data projected there is only a temporary cache. It's a fragmented cache. It's encrypted. Management is much easier. Why? Because now you don't have to do branch backup. You don't have to do the branch provisioning. Provisioning is all done in the central. Backup also done in the central, and you can leverage the best technology that they have invested in a data center to do the backup, etc. And customer, in fact, use such technology can improve the RTO. That's the recovery time and the backup time. It's much improved. The bottom line is the cost. From cost perspective, SteelFusion help reduce or even eliminate lots of hardware and software which has been flowing around in the branch office, eliminate those licenses, eliminate the peripheral backup in the branch. Customer gain their control and the tools. They use the tools at the data center and the same tools. So there's also a real impact in terms of reducing IT budget, and by reducing the travel time, by reducing the support at the branch office. So which is all the savings to the business. Okay, let me give you a quick overview of the company. Riverbed company, and some of you have known us for a while. We, in short 10-year time span, Riverbed has grown from a startup company to a public listed company with $1 billion revenue each year. We listed in the U.S., headquartered in the U.S., and the company has over 24,000 large enterprise customers across all the industry. And we are recognized in a few areas as a leader, in a market leader, as a technology leader. Web optimization, that's our butter and bread. And everybody knows when they when they hear Riverbed, they say, oh, WAN optimization. But beyond that, we have grown from WAN optimization to other areas. And the other areas we have grown. So used to be a single product company, and the product is called Steelhead. We now grown to a market which people recognize as this is a complete application performance platform area. That platform will remove any limitations imposed by distance and locations for modern enterprise. So I want to briefly introduce these 5 major product families. Today we mainly covered a SteelFusion. SteelFusion is the product that helps branch office to converge all the infrastructure and deliver local performance to the branch office, will enable data centralization and enable instant recovery, such it will lower the total cost of ownership as far as enterprise IT is concerned, because more than 50% money is spent outside the data center into the branches. So if you can remove much of that and consolidate and saving the money in the branch, you save the total cost. So that's the SteelFusion. Steelhead is our #1 WAN optimization solution that delivers application and data at the LAN speed, at the LAN-like speed. So the patented technology is called data deduplication. It works wonderful. So every time traffic goes across Steelhead, the data gets deduplicated and moves fast. Steel App is the virtual application delivery controller. It's called the virtual delivery controller, ADC, okay, by the industry name. That gives a scalable, secure, and elastic deployment delivery, mostly in the cloud and the e-commerce environment. So on the top is the Steel Central, and that's another area we play very, very strong. And Steel Central is a suite of performance management tools that combines end-user experience, that combines the application and network performance management to provide an end-to-end visibility that's needed to diagnose secure issues and even before the end user notice and complain the problems. So that's the whole suite of the product. And this whole suite of product is supported by a broad and diverse ecosystem of partners and extending the value of our platform. So I'm an engineer. I like to look at the diagram. To put it into the network topology perspective, what we call application performance platform. And the APP really is seamlessly integrated into existing customer environment. We are not remove anything. We just been implementing a few here and there software and hardware. The goal is optimize and manage the whole infrastructure. The whole infrastructure, the solution can be deployed in the data center, branch office, mobile users, and even cloud, and making this so-called location-independent computing possible. So if you haven't get anything from what I talk about, just get the idea that business with Riverbed's application performance platform, business can enjoy the freedom to host its applications and data anywhere and without compromising user experience. The end result is to increase business productivity while lower the cost, and that's the way to do it. And so that concludes my presentation for today. and I can open up for questions.
Thanks for the insightful presentation, Bill. Let's take up the questions now, as you have just mentioned. So I would request you to read aloud the questions and their answers so that all our users may listen to your insights. So are you able to see the questions?
Yes, I see one question from the audience. Is it an enhancement of VDI solution? It is. So again, back to the challenges. VDI is often implemented in a LAN environment. It's in a very large cluster of users, and when you implement solutions, you have other than the clients, VDI clients, you have servers, you have EXI, you have infrastructure boxes associated with a VDI environment. So the solution I just presented is for any branch office out there. Let's say you have 30 people, 100 people somewhere. You want to be part of a VDI, of corporate VDI environment. And the choice is you take external servers, you do all these designs, which VMware and other VDI providers suggest you how to do it. You have a thin client, you have a servers to help the thin client. Because if you don't have the local services, it's very hard to implement. For the reason is the WAN link just not allow you to do remote access constantly for bulky traffic. And alternatively, you take away all the so-called branch server storage, and you replace one with a Dropbox. Let's say StillFusion is a box, it's a branch in a box, a Dropbox, and then you implement that solution. So it is, the question is this is one of the enhancements to the VDI. That's one solution. And then there's other benefits. So the other benefit is, again, it's a box which take care of most IT resources, IT service that you need, because you can implement virtual machines on the box. You can install the applications there, and at the same time, you do the network optimization. So I hope that answers the question. And the other one, do you need any certifications for Riverbed technology? I don't. Okay, there's two areas. One is if there's a physical certification, you know, whether the box needed to move between the country, there's a certification for physical box. That's already done, so don't worry. We have been selling that. If it's implementation, let's say certification on storage, certification on VDI. In fact, let me go back. VDI, we have jointly with VMware, we have jointly published a white paper and suggest customer how to do the things with the StillFusion in a VDI environment. So certification is not required. It's recommended by VMware. Then in the storage environment, like how we talk to the storage vendors, the EMC, network, we have done all the tests and we have a certification. So it's there if you want to need more. So another question, can Riverbed technology without virtualization, without virtualization? So I don't quite understand that question, but I will answer that. So our box has a virtualization interface built in. The SteelFusion. The SteelFusion box has. The SteelHead when optimization doesn't have. So it works in a virtualized environment. It also works in non-virtualized environment. When I mean extending the virtualization to the branch, I usually refer to, because the branch, and there's two functions on the SteelFusion. One is the storage delivery function. Okay, that's also important because the block transfer without SteelFusion, it's very hard. So you have to put some kind of a storage in the branch. Otherwise, it won't work. But SteelFusion can do the block transfer technology, block delivery. Okay, and the virtualization piece I refer to is also resident in the SteelFusion at the branch. That allows you to consolidate other branch services into the box. So it's more value added. But you can take that, decouple it, say even without virtualization, does it work? Yeah, it works. But the virtualization already built into the SteelFusion, so you don't have to buy any virtualization. It's basically, it is a compartment which you can do things, and it's there. It's like an iPhone. You can download any applications. If you don't want to use the application, just use a phone, it's fine. Okay, I'm not sure if I answered the question, but anyway. Why VMware? Another question. Why VMware, not HyperV from Microsoft and other vendor? I think HyperV is in a roadmap. If you really wanted to shoot me an email, I can tell you what's the time frame. So, other than support VMware, we are going to support HyperV. Not sure about Citrix and Red Hat. So the other, at least we don't have a plan, and there's also strategic reason. So we go along with the Microsoft VMware, and the machine I just talked about has a virtualized platform, and it's there. So SteelFusion at the edge has two parts. One is it natively does the WAN optimization, and the other part is providing an interface, a virtual machine compartment or container, so that you can drop in the service as you wish. So it's become one platform or a branch box, a branch device in a box type of things, a box, branch office box. Okay, I think going down to the question, I answer all these four. A few more minutes. Any other question? Oh, yeah. So the question comes, it says, how do we implement SteelFusion in multiple locations, and what are the benefits? First of all, the architecture itself, it is designed for multiple locations. So there's a SteelFusion as a core device, which is bigger. Then there's a branch devices, which are small, depends on how many storage, how many users. Usually, we take care of from 20 to 100 users in one box, and then you have stacked multiple box. So so by design, it works in one to multiple location kind of a design. So it's just naturally it works. And what are the benefits? Same benefit as before. So oftentimes, let's say, I just give you the example, Paul Hastings, the legal firm. they are not just one branch office, right? They have excess of 100 branch office around the world. And the way they implement it, they find 4 data centers. They form 4 data centers. They have 4 core devices in those data centers. And everything else is a branch office Dropbox there. So the benefit, the more branch office you implement, the more benefit. All the branch office become serverless. No more servers there. So the more and the more benefit. Okay, we have 2 more minutes. Last few questions.
While we wait for the questions to come in, would you like to share some more insights with the audience? I think we have received one more question, Bill. Yes, you can take it.
The question just come from, says, you mean only 100 computers are supported by SteelFusion. If we need more, do we need to buy more? I think I refer to different things. So for design purpose, on the VM VDI environment, when we design the storage at the branch match with the virtual machines and pointing, the upper limit is somewhere like 100. But when you talk about WAN optimization and other things, we see branch office as big as a couple thousand employees on both sides and one box drop into and be able to optimize. So again, the limit is not hard limit. It's a design, and we needed to look at the design and specifically say how many computers in that location and what is the size of the SteelFusion box we need to employ there. So again, to give you some size, in terms of a network, we have a very large client. Again, the U.S. government is the biggest client. So in one network, they have approximately 1,000 Steelhead boxes. Steelhead SteelFusion is a 2-product line, but again, from network implementation side, it's close to 1,000 in one network. And in terms of, this is the number of branch office all connected together. In terms of how big is the branch office can be, anywhere 20, 100 people to about 500 people. That's quite normal in the design. That's quite normal in the design. Okay, just you know, we have offices in all Asia and of course in India, quite a few branch offices there. And you can find our location from our website, www.riverbed.com, and also my email. I posted there, bting@riverbed.com. In case you have a few questions beyond this, you can send me an email. Okay. Without any
I think
questions,
we are
again,
over with the question session. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
I'm sorry?
Yes, Bill. Any closing line? You can sum up the session for now.
Oh yeah, I just want to thank everybody, and I hope I can share more information with you in the later sessions. Thank you all.
And I'm really thankful to our guest speaker today for conducting this informative webinar with us. It was indeed a great session. I would also like to thank all our participants for their support in making this webinar a success. The recording of the webinar will be available on techgig.com by tomorrow. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Bill, for taking the time out and having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll close the session now. Bye-bye.